friends, it's Danielle with Schoolhouse Red, and today I'm going to show you how to make a wonderful and traditional dessert in our family called 4-Layer Delight. This is something that my grandma used to make, and we just lost her this past July, so this is our first holiday without her. She hasn't cooked in a while, and when I made the gumbo video, I'll link that down in the description box, but that was really in honor of my grandpa when he had passed, but also I'd mentioned in that video that she no longer was able to cook. So now they are both in heaven, I'm sure, tearing up the heavenly kitchen. But the recipe comes from the Gumbo Festival cookbook. I mentioned that my family was very big in that festival, and the recipe for 4-Layer Delight is here. My grandma sent me this cookbook years and years ago. I think when I was living in Colorado, and she even bookmarked the page for me. So we are going to make this dessert in honor of her for our first Thanksgiving without both of my grandparents on my mom's side. So keep watching, and with a little bit of editing magic, the next time you'll see me, I'll be in the cabin kitchen. See? Magic. Here in the kitchen at the cabin. Okay, so we are going to form the crust right now of the 4-Layer Delight, and for that you will need a cup of flour. You will need 3/4 a cup of finely chopped pecans. These were halves, and I just hacked it and mashed them up at home because I have a chopper at home. Wasn't sure what they would have in the cabin. And you'll need 3/4 cup of those, and then you will need a stick of butter melted. So I'm gonna go melt the butter and get my measuring cups, and I will be right back. Oven is preheating to 350, and I've sprayed a Pyrex glass baking dish with cooking spray. So now into a mixing bowl, I'm going to do 1 cup of the flour. And I'm going to do 3/4, but I'm gonna use a 1/4 cup scoop. That way they don't go everywhere because messes, and I'm not in my own kitchen. So I'm gonna do 3 of these, and they are finely chopped. Like I said, I pre-did that yesterday. Then to that, we're going to add our melted stick of butter, and we're going to combine that evenly, and we're going to put it in the Pyrex dish. So let me grab the butter. Okay, looking good here. I'm just gonna pour that in, and I'm going to start to mix. This doesn't look like much, but this is our base layer, or the first layer of the 4-Layer Delight dessert. Okay, so this is about as good as we're gonna get, but trust me, it will be amazing. So we are going to pour that into our baking dish. We are going to spread it out evenly, and definitely we're going to use our clean hands to press it down into the bottom so that it will form the crust and make the first layer. Now you might be thinking it looks rather thin, and why didn't I use a smaller pan? Trust me, this recipe makes a lot, and when we're done it's going to fill up the entire pan. So you don't want to use a small pan. That would not be wise. So I'm going to do that, and then once we have pressed it in, we're going to bake it in an oven at 350 for 20 minutes until it starts to brown. Going in. See how that's pressed in there? And this is what it looks like out of the oven. Yes, it is cracked, but don't worry, we have a great crust here. Let it cool completely. Okay, time for the second layer. Now that our first layer has cooled completely, we are going to use 1 package of softened cream cheese. It's not exactly room temperature, but you know, it had to ride in the car on the way here, so it's a little soft. Okay, then we are going to add 1 cup of powdered sugar. Again, I'm going to use a smaller size since this is not my normal kitchen. I just don't feel right making a huge mess, and powdered sugar and flour and all that can be kind of crazy. So that was like a little more than half. All right. And then to that, we are going to add, normally it is a small container of Cool Whip, but since we have the larger one here, we are going to put half of it into this mixing bowl. And then we're gonna mix all of it up. And then we're going to spread this on top of that first layer. Okay, so for the third layer, you are going to take either 2 small packages of pudding, or you can just use 1 large like I'm doing. Make sure it's chocolate pudding. You're going to need 2 cups of milk, and you're going to need 2 cups of evaporated milk. She called it pet milk, so that's what we're going to use. And instead of following any type of directions on the back of the box of pudding, you are going to follow these instructions instead. You're going to mix this with 2 cups of milk and 2 cups of pet milk and mix it all together, and we're going to pour it on top of the layer we just did. You want to make sure that your pudding has actually had time to set, so make sure that you allow it that 5 minutes or so in the fridge before you pour it on top of the second layer. Just go ahead and smooth it out evenly, and then top the whole thing with whipped cream for the 4th layer. Here's what it looks like plated. You can see all of the 4 layers. It doesn't hold its shape for long though. Here's what it actually looks like during the process of eating it. It is like a crunchy, puddingy, delicious dessert. Here is that recipe straight from the Gumbo Festival cookbook. And here's me enjoying cooking in the cabin. Here's a preview of all the other dishes that I made on Thanksgiving. I had so much fun celebrating and spending time with family and just being all around thankful and grateful for the blessings that we have in life. I hope you had a wonderful holiday as well, and stay tuned because I've got some great videos coming up for the month of December. Leave a comment if you try the 4-layer delight recipe and let me know what you think. Thanks for watching.